Hey, welcome to lesson 1.7, angle constructions. For this lesson, this is a replacement. This is a different version of the one that's in your notes packet. So please disregard the one that's in your notes packet, and this is the one that you'll be using. So when you're filling out your notes, you'll be filling them out on this sheet that you took when you walked in the class. Just a quick review for constructions, you'll typically need, or you'll always need, a compass. You will need a straight edge, and it is a good idea to use a pencil to do your constructions in. Of course, there's one on the compass, but for other things, please use a pencil. If you have one, if you only have a pen, okay. Just try not to make any errors that would mess up your construction. Alrighty, remember when we refer to the focus point, we are referring to the end or the point that is not the pencil. So it's the sharp piece at the end. And the pencil point, of course, is the point of the pencil on your compass. So let's get started. For the first angle construction, we are copying an angle. Okay, so we're making a copy of this angle here. And once we're finished, it will look like two angles, okay? Two of the same angles. And if we measure them, we'll notice that they are the same measure, okay? And you'd need a protractor to do that. And you can do that yourself to make sure that your construction went well. We're going to be working off of this angle here. So every time we do a step, like the first step, our first step should look like that. Our second step will look like this. Third step will look like that. Fourth and fifth and so on, okay? So let's get started. Now we're given this angle and it says here use a straight edge to make a ray where we'll place the angle. That was already made for you. We already have the ray here and it's A prime, okay? So A prime is this point here. Let's move on to the second step. So the second step says to create an arc of any size such that it intersects both rays of the angle and label those points B and C. So you are going to make an arc here. We're going to be working off this particular angle and we're going to make it is focusing, so it might be going in and out. I'm just going to refocus this for us so that that doesn't happen and it doesn't get too frustrating for us, okay? So I refocused it. So now we're going to create an arc of any size such that it intersects both rays of the angle, and we're doing that with this angle here. So I'm going to take my focus point and I'm just going to make an arc. That's not good. It's not always the easiest to do, but you know, we got to do it. Okay, so we're going to put our focus point here. And then the way I'm going to make my arc is just to lay my pencil flat and then turn my page around a little bit. Move my paper in the direction I want it to go. All right, so then we're going to label those points B and C. All right, and so this looks exactly like that, which is what we want. Okay. And then for our next step, we're going to want this to look exactly like this. How do we get this? What do we have to do to go from here, or rather here, to here? Okay, so it says to create the same arc by placing not your ring, cross that out, but your focus point at A prime. So you're going to put your focus point at A prime, and you're going to create the same angle. The way that we keep the same angle is by not changing the distance between those 2 points. So do not move your compass in any way. Keep the same distance between the pencil and the focus points, okay? So then I'm going to create another arc, put that focus point on A, and then lay my pencil flat and then just turn this page in the direction I want it to go, okay? And so that's how I did that, and that's how I got this. That's how we go from here to here. I'm going to label this B prime. All right, so the next thing we want to do, and that step is down here, is to place the focus point at B and the pencil point at C. And then we're going to use that distance to make the same arc from B prime. Okay, this step is where it gets a little tricky, but stay with me. All right, so they're telling us to take our focus point on B and pencil point on C. When we do that, yeah, we are going to end up moving the distance and changing the distance between those two on the compass, but there's a reason for that, and that's exactly how we're going to be able to copy this this angle. So once we have this, once I have made sure that my focus is on B, my pencil point is on C, I am going to go down here without moving the distance or changing the distance in any way, and I'm going to make a small arc right here. Okay? And so that small arc I'm going to label C prime, the intersection rather of B, this arc here and the one that I just made is going to be C prime. Okay? And so that was step 4. And that's why this looks like that. Take some practice, and that's what you're going to be doing all period. And then we are going to draw ray AC. But this should really say draw ray A prime, C prime, okay? So fix that so that it says ray A prime, C prime. Essentially what they're telling us to do is to connect A prime to C prime, and you're going to do that using the straight edge. All right, and that's what we did here. We connected A prime to C prime, created this ray, and so it's going to look like that. So it should look like this, but if I were to erase any of the arcs, it would look like this. And these two angles are the same measure. This is just a copy of that. If you want to verify, go ahead and use your protractor. What I'm going to tell you is that you should never, ever, ever, ever erase any construction markings, okay? So this really is the correct and final version of this construction. Never erase construction marks. All right, so what you're gonna do is, if you need to rewatch this video or a supplemental video, you're gonna do that now, and then you are going to create a copy of angle A. This is your try it out in this box, okay? So this is the try it out. After you're finished doing that, we are going to bisect an angle. And let's, again, work off of this angle here. We're given this angle, and we are going to bisect it. So let's talk about the steps to doing that. By the time we're finished, this angle here should look like that angle there. Okay? Put the focus point on A. Then create an arc of any size that intersects both rays of the angle. Label those points B and C. So put the focus point on A, and then create an arc of any size that intersects this ray and that ray. Okay, that's easy enough. So I'm just going to again, see. I'm actually going to create a part 2 for this because this video is getting a little long. So watch part 2, practice copying, and then you can move on to the second part of this video. Okie dokie.